She'd been invisible for 11 years, just another beggar the world refused to see. But when the most dangerous man in Seoul dropped to his knees and whispered, "Master," everything she'd sacrificed came flooding back. Eva pressed her spine against the cold marble of the Gangnam shopping district, her tattered coat pulled tight. Around her, designer heels clicked past without pause. A teenage girl wrinkled her nose. "Gross! Why don't they clean up the streets?" Eva didn't flinch. She'd learned years ago that invisibility was survival. Her eyes, though, sharp, calculating, alive, tracked every face in the crowd. A habit from another life. She noted the security camera angles, the blind spots, the emergency exits. Old training never died. Across the plaza, a black Mercedes rolled to a stop. Jin Wook emerged in a tailored suit that cost more than most people's monthly salary. Bodyguards flanked him, but he waved them back. His jaw was tight, his gaze sweeping the crowd with the same compulsive rhythm it had for the past 11 years. Still searching, Eva thought, her chest tightening. He was 30 now. No longer the desperate 17-year-old boy she'd pulled from a burning car 13 years ago. His shoulders carried power. His eyes carried ghosts. A intricate dragon tattoo coiled up his neck, traditional Korean patterns she'd once traced when he had nightmares. He moved through the crowd like a predator, controlled, purposeful. People parted instinctively. They didn't know his name, but they felt his presence. Jin Wook paused near a fountain, scanning faces again. Eva's breath caught. "Don't look here. Please don't look here." But fate had other plans. A child's balloon drifted loose, floating directly toward Eva. The little girl chased it, stumbling. Eva's hand shot out instinctively, catching the child before she fell. "Thank you, Ajuma," the mother called, pulling her daughter away quickly, eyes avoiding Eva's face. But Jin Wook had turned. Their eyes met across 30 feet of marble in memory. He froze. She stopped breathing. 13 years collapsed into a single, impossible moment. Have you ever recognized someone you thought you'd lost forever? Drop a comment and hit subscribe. I want to hear your story. Time didn't stop. It shattered. Jin Wook's briefcase slipped from his fingers, hitting the marble with a crack that made his bodyguards reach for their weapons. But he didn't notice. Didn't blink. His entire world had narrowed to one face. Her. Eva's instinct screamed to run, but her body betrayed her, rooted to the ground by the weight of 11 years' longing. "Master?" The word left his lips barely above a whisper, but it carried across the plaza like thunder. The crowd turned, confused, curious. Jin Wook walked forward, slow, deliberate, like approaching a mirage that might vanish. His hands trembled at his sides. The dragon tattoo on his neck pulsed with his racing heartbeat. Eva shook her head slowly. "No. Please, no." "You're alive," he breathed, now 5 feet away. His voice cracked. "You're alive." His knees buckled. The most feared man in Seoul's underworld collapsed to the marble plaza floor, forehead pressed to the ground, in a full traditional bow. His shoulders shook. "Master," he said again, louder now. "Forgive me. Forgive me for not finding you sooner." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Phones rose, cameras flashed. Eva's weathered hands covered her mouth. Tears burned tracks down her face. "Jin Wook, get up. Please get up." "Not until you acknowledge me." His voice was steel wrapped in desperation. "Not until you tell me why you left." A businessman muttered, Is that Jin Wook? The Jin Wook? Why is he bowing to a homeless woman? Is this some kind of performance art?" But Eva heard none of it. She saw only the boy she'd raised, the son she'd abandoned to save. She reached down with a shaking hand and touched his head. "Get up, Egya." The old term of endearment, my child. "Please, not here." He looked up and she saw her own grief mirrored in his eyes. "Then where, master? Where do I have the right to honor you? What would you do if someone you loved disappeared to protect you? Comment below and smash that subscribe button. This story is just getting started." Eva pulled back. Instinct overriding emotion. You can't do this. You don't understand. Then make me understand? Jin Wook rose to his feet, and for the first time in over a decade, his composure cracked completely. 11 years, Master. 11 years I've searched every street, every shelter, every corner of this city. You shouldn't have. Her voice turned cold, defensive. I left for a reason. What reason justifies this? He gestured at her tattered coat, her worn shoes. You taught me honor, strategy, survival, and you're living like I deserve? The words cut the air between them. Maybe I am. Jin Wook recoiled as if struck. You don't believe that. You don't know what I believe anymore. Eva's eyes darted to the growing crowd, to the security cameras, to the danger she'd spent 11 years avoiding. You've made yourself visible, Jin Wook, important, which means you're vulnerable. I made myself powerful, he corrected, his tattooed neck flexing. Powerful enough to protect what's mine. I was never yours to protect. You were everything. His voice dropped to something raw. You pulled me from fire. You taught me languages, combat, how to read people, how to survive. You made me... I made a mistake, Eva interrupted, stepping back. I got attached. I broke protocol. And it almost got you killed. Silence. Jin Wook's jaw tightened. The ambush, 13 years ago. They came for me. You were just collateral damage. Her hands fisted at her sides. What? When I realized they'd use you to get to me, I had one choice. Disappear. That wasn't your choice to make alone. You were 19. I'm not 19 anymore. His eyes hardened. And I don't need your protection. I never did. I needed you. Eva turned away. You need to forget you saw me. Not possible. Jin Wook, I'm not leaving, Master. Not again. Not ever. Eva tried to walk away. Jin Wook's hand closed gently around her wrist, not restraining, but pleading. 3 minutes, he said. Just give me 3 minutes in my car, away from cameras. Then if you still want to disappear, I won't stop you. It was a lie, and they both knew it. But Eva's resistance was crumbling. 11 years of loneliness pressed against her ribs like broken glass. 3 minutes, she whispered. The Mercedes door closed behind them, by sealing them in leather-scented silence. Jin Wook's driver pulled into underground parking without being told. Eva sat rigid, hands folded in her lap. Jin Wook stared at her like she might evaporate. You cut your hair, he said finally. You grew up. I became what you designed. I didn't design a gangster. Her eyes caught the dragon tattoo winding up his neck. Or that. His mouth quirked, almost a smile. You designed a survivor. The rest was adaptation. The tattoo? I got it the year after you left. Dragons protect their treasures. I wanted to remember what I was protecting. Silence stretched between them, heavy with unsaid words. I have your picture, Jin Wook admitted quietly. The one from the university. You were receiving some award. I've carried it for 11 years. Eva's throat tightened. You should have burned it. I should have found you sooner. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees. Tell me why, Master. The real reason. Not the protocol answer, the truth. She closed her eyes. Because you looked at me like I mattered. Like I was more than an operative, more than a weapon. You called me Umma once when you had fever during training. You don't even remember, but I do. I remember everything. Then you remember I'm dangerous. People around me die, Jin Wook. That's not metaphor, it's history. Then we match. His voice was soft steel. People around me disappear, usually permanently. But you? He reached out slowly, giving her time to pull away. You, I want to keep. His hand covered hers. She didn't pull away. Do you remember the night we met? Eva asked, her voice distant. Really remember? Jin Wook nodded. Seoul, August 2011. I was running from the Lotus Syndicate. My father had betrayed them and they wanted a payment in blood. I was 17, stupid, thought I could negotiate. You were brave, Eva corrected. Foolish, but brave. They put me in a car, drove me to the industrial district. I knew what was coming: the river, the concrete blocks. His jaw tightened. Then the car flipped. Explosion. Fire everywhere. I couldn't get out. You had a dislocated shoulder and a concussion, Eva continued. The door was jammed. The driver was already dead. And then you appeared. Jin-wook's eyes softened. Like something out of smoke. You ripped the door off the hinges with a crowbar, pulled me out. I asked who you were. You asked if I was an angel. Eva smiled despite herself. You were delirious. You said, angels don't exist, but I do. And you're going to live. They sat in shared memory. What you don't know, Eva said slowly, is that I wasn't there by accident. I'd been tracking the Lotus Syndicate for 6 months. They were laundering money for an international weapons dealer. My agency wanted intel. Your father was my entry point. Jin-wook stiffened. You used me. Initially, yes. The admission hurt. But then I got you out and you wouldn't leave my safe house. You followed me everywhere like a stubborn shadow. Asked 1,000 questions, learned everything I taught you in weeks. I kept you for 2 years, Jin-wook. 2 years of training you when I should have sent you away. You became my teacher. You became my purpose. Her voice cracked. And that was the problem. Operatives don't have families. We don't get attachments. When my handler found out in 2013 that I was training you instead of using you, she stopped. What did they do? They sent a kill team for both of us. The night you disappeared in 2013, Jin-wook said quietly, I woke up and you were gone. No note, no trace, just silence. I had 10 minutes warning, Eva whispered. A contact tipped me off. The kill team was already in Seoul. If I stayed, they'd have eliminated you to get to me. So I ran. I made it look like I'd betrayed you, sold you out to your enemies. I never believed that. You should have. I knew you. His hand tightened around hers. I knew your tells. The way you'd check exits twice. The way you'd make me recite emergency protocols every morning. You weren't training me to betray me, Master. You were training me to survive without you. Tears slipped down Ava's face. I wanted you to hate me. It would have been easier. Nothing about you has ever been easy. But his voice was gentle. I built an empire looking for you. Every business acquisition, every alliance, every carefully constructed piece of my reputation. It was all breadcrumbs leading back to the people who took you from me. Eva looked at him sharply. What did you do? I infiltrated the organizations you were afraid of, bought out the competition, made myself too valuable to eliminate and too dangerous to ignore. A dangerous smile crossed his face, the dragon tattoo seeming to move. I became what you taught me to become. Then I used it to dismantle them piece by piece. Jin-wook. The Lotus Syndicate? Gone. The weapons dealer network? Exposed. Your old handler who sent the kill team? His eyes darkened. Oh, living in a very small cell in a very dark hole? You did all that for me? I did it because you taught me that loyalty isn't a weakness. He lifted her hand, pressed it to his forehead in a gesture of absolute reverence. You taught me that family is chosen, not given. You chose me, Master, so I chose you back. The car door exploded open. 3 men in dark suits, guns drawn, surrounded the Mercedes. Jin-wook's bodyguards were already moving, but Ava recognized the tactical formation instantly. Shadow protocol, she breathed. No. Everyone out, now. The lead operative's voice was cold, professional, American accent. CIA. Jin-wook moved to shield Eva, but she grabbed his arm. Don't, they're not here for you. Agent Eva Okafor, the operative continued. You're listed as KIA, yet here you are. Compromising a high-value foreign asset. I'm not an asset, Jin-wook said dangerously, his neck tattoo visible as his jaw clenched. You became one the moment you started dismantling our operations. The operative's weapon didn't waver. Did you think we wouldn't notice? 3 networks collapsed, billions rerouted, and all trails leading back to you. Eva stepped forward, placing herself between Jin Wook and the guns. He's not involved in this. He's civilian. She's lying, Jin Wook said flatly. I knew exactly what I was doing. Every organization I touched, every person I exposed, it was intentional. Jin Wook, stop! No, Master, no more running. He looked at the operatives. You want to know why your networks collapsed? Because they failed her. They sent her into hell and abandoned her when she showed mercy, when she chose humanity over mission. So I finished what you started. I chose her back. The operative's expression hardened. Then you're both liabilities. Try it, Jin Wook said softly. I have insurance files on every agency director, every black site, every off-books operation from the last 15 years. They're time-locked. If I don't check in every 12 hours, everything uploads. Global, public, irreversible. Ava stared at him. You weaponized my training against them. I weaponized your love. The operative's radio crackled. A tense pause. Then, stand down. Package is flagged for negotiation. The guns lowered, but the damage was done. The operatives left with a warning, 48 hours to resolve the situation. Ava stood alone in Jin Wook's penthouse, staring at the Seoul skyline. He'd given her space, but she felt his presence in every corner. Books she'd recommended, martial arts equipment she'd trained him on, a framed photo of them from 11 years ago that she didn't know existed. The door opened quietly. You kept that picture, she said without turning. I kept everything. Jin Wook stood in the doorway, exhausted but unbowed. The dragon tattoo seemed subdued in the dim light. Your notes, your lesson plans. The first meal we cooked together, I still make it exactly how you taught me. You should let me go. I should, but I won't. Eva turned. They'll come back, Jin Wook. Not with negotiation, with force. Everything you've built, everything you've become, it'll be collateral damage. Then let it burn. He stepped forward. Every building, every business, every carefully constructed layer of protection, none of it matters without you. You're being irrational. I'm being human. He stopped an arm's length away. You taught me strategy, Master, but you also taught me something more important. You taught me that some things are worth more than survival. Connection. Loyalty. Love. The word hung between them. I was your teacher, Eva whispered. You were my mother, Jin Wook corrected gently. In every way that mattered. And when you left, you didn't just teach me to survive. You taught me to never let go of what's worth keeping. Eva's walls finally crumbled. I'm so tired, Jin Wook. Tired of running. Tired of being invisible. Tired of pretending I didn't spend 11 years hoping you'd find me. Then stop. He opened his arms. Come home. She stepped forward. He caught her. Ori, and for the first time in 11 years, Eva Okafor let herself be held. The next morning, Jin Wook made a call that would change everything. Assemble the council, he told his second-in-command. Every family, every territory. Gangnam Plaza, 1 hour. Eva tried to stop him. What are you doing? Declaring war. His smile was sharp, the dragon tattoo prominent. Strategically. An hour later, Seoul's underground converged on the same plaza where Eva had been invisible for years. Rival bosses, alliance leaders, power brokers who controlled everything from shipping to government contracts. Jin Wook stood at the center, Eva beside him. Most of you know me, he began, his voice carrying across the silent crowd. You know my reputation, my resources, my reach. Today I am cashing in every favor, every alliance, every debt. Murmurs rippled. Though this woman, he gestured to Eva, is under my absolute protection. Anyone who threatens her answers to me. Any agency, any operative, any government that moves against her will find their operations exposed, their funding frozen, their secrets public. A rival boss laughed. You'd declare war on intelligence agencies for one woman? Yes. Jin Wook's eyes were steel. And you'll help me. Because I know your secrets too. I know where your money flows, who you pay, what laws you break. So here's the deal. You stand with me or you fall alone. The laughter died. One by one, the bosses nodded. Jin Wook turned to Eva, his voice softening. You taught me that power without purpose is just violence, so I'm giving my power purpose. He took her hand. You're not invisible anymore, Master. Not to me, not to anyone. Ava's tears fell freely. You really did learn everything I taught you. Almost everything. He smiled. You never taught me how to let go, so I won't. She laughed through her tears. That's because I hoped you wouldn't. He pulled her close. Sol watched a Mafia boss honor the woman who made him. And Eva Okafor finally came home. Sometimes the people who save us are the ones we have to save back. What did you think of Jen Wook and Eva's story? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if this made you feel something, smash that subscribe button. Because stories like this deserve to be heard. See you in the next one.